Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the .NET and AI community stand-up. Super happy to be here. It's Canada Day here also. It's kind of a July the 1st. We start kind of a new year in Canada. I love it. It's a super family and festive day. But hey, I have the chance to talk with very smart people about amazing topics and more. So I'm going to take on that. And yes, I know I need to introduce myself. I'm learning this stuff. Even if this is the episode 50 or something that I am doing. My name is Bruno. I work in DevRel, in GitHub/Microsoft, focus on .NET and AI. And I'm super happy to be here with Konstantin because we just chat for 5-10 minutes and my brain is flowing with ideas and topic to talk. So, hey, Konstantin, welcome. Please let us know who you are.
My name is Konstantin. So I'm doing software development more than 20 years. So I'm running my company, I'm CTO, and I work with entire my life. I work with C#. Everyone told me like you have to switch to Java, you have to do something like this. But with Xamarin and now with .NET Core, I can say no, I was right. Now I wrote software which works everywhere. So that's why I'm here.
I love it because we are going to go to the content right now, but we have this conversation about how we are going to build software, how everything is changing, how literally 2026 is the year that we change a lot of things. So let me start, as we do usually, with a couple of links that we have. And as usual, I will say to the people, go to the .NET blog, start to see the latest one that we have. I pick up this. So Ski# is a great library. I didn't even know that I was using Ski#. I have one of my library, which is a QR code generator for the command line, for the CLI, because I need it for some specific agentic whatever. And internally, I use Ski#. And I've been using this for a long, long time. Also, when I was doing some OpenCV and more stuff, give it a try. Give it a try because it's a good library. And I also know that our friend from the Uno platform, they are having some cool things here. And I think Avalonia also there. Take it a look. This is something that we also presented a couple of days ago. And this is kind of a housekeeping news. If you're still using .NET 8 and 9, go for the 10 because in the next 6 months. No, it is November. So in 4 months away, the end of support will arrive and you really don't want to be there. By the way, I know that even if it seems easy because moving from .NET 8, 9 to 10, it's a trivial task. I know that depending on where you're working, you may need to pass again a lot of compliance and a lot of checks and more. My advice there, because I was part of a couple of customer conversations about this, is that everything that is working right now in .NET 9 or 10 or 8, will work in 10. And I know that the key part there is how you are going to make all of these compliance again, and people asking for long-term. There's a full conversation that I'm happy to help if everybody is here, but November 10 is the day that you need to have in your head. I have more links here. I will also say
I would like to I would like to add something about this .NET. I know, and you're right 100%. A lot of people work with a really big company and maybe switch library takes like 6-8 months for the whole security verification. But there is also quote about we have to stay on stable version with our small company. And I ask people why. And people think like it's like for stability, for security updates, for support. And I ask like, how do you plan to get support from Microsoft for example, .NET 8? And I Google it and I realized that your company should spend maybe $1 million USD for Azure, and then for 100,000 you can buy this support for .NET 8, which is crazy. So which means people have no ability to get that support and they stuck for this old version for literally no reason. So again, if you don't have any compliance, just switch to latest one. It works amazing. You will have all performance improvements just easy.
Hey, we are going to see this later, but just on the performance side, .NET 10 is faster. That's it. And
it's much faster.
It's most efficient. It's more so. Hey, I don't want to spoil what we are going to talk later, but yes, you can do that. And before moving forward, because I really want to switch to Konstantin stuff, also take a look at a couple of posts that there is in the Aspire blog, because the way that Aspire is integrated right now in the developer loop, it's amazing. I always share with people that Aspire is an amazing platform, but what I really like about David Pine, David Fowler, Maddie, Damian, James, and all of the people in the Aspire team is that they are very open how they are building Aspire as an AI first product. So they tell that, hey, we are doing this, and I'm making this up. We are automating this AI pull request triage, and it didn't work. So we are not doing that anymore, but we are using AI here, and we are not using. So they are telling literally to everyone how we can build software today using AI. And I think that's really, really something amazing because, as I said, there are a lot of very smart people there, and we can learn a lot. I was in Spain last week or 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about this. And some people say, hey, I need a blueprint of that. And I say, you don't need a blueprint. Just go and follow David Fowler, take a look at his tweets, start to get your ideas and adapt all of these ideas. Go to the Aspire repo and adapt all of those ideas to your specific scenario, because everything is changing. And I really, really like to use Aspire as kind of okay, maybe it's not going to, all of the lessons learned there are not going to apply to you, but you can pick up a couple of there and be inspired to do more your stuff. So this is a great article from Adam about, hey, how the 13.4 version of Aspire put the developer in the loop, how you can use it and more. I'm not going to review the whole article because there are a lot of things there. That said,
is amazing.
Yes, and as I said, I really like that Aspire being open source and more. They are also sharing not the product, not how the product is amazing, how they build the product. And because we are moving so fast, and I think that we are going to talk about this today, it's kind of nice to have kind of a reference here and there about, hey, I want to use AI, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, which is the best way. Back on the day, we were used to, this is a product and this is your user manual. Now everything's going so fast that when we give the product and we release the user manual is 3-4 versions below what we have there. So it's a nice balance to go there. But hey, it's probably very similar to what we are going to talk today. So Konstantin, are you okay if I share your screen and we start to chat?
Of course.
Perfect. Let me go here. And by the way, Jose saying that great idea to show the dev blogs at the beginning of the live. Yes. Someone mentioned that we should do that, and we started to do it. And hey, thanks for the feedback, Jose. We learned this from your request. So here we are. And I love this first slide, by the way. But bring us there.
Yeah. So I want to start with kind of idea that before that you have to spend a lot of time for like developing, learning language, so much nuances, and you as a developer, you focus on some like small pieces of software which maybe doesn't make any sense. But now you can bring to AI everything. AI can create code for you, and now it doesn't matter which language or technology do you use, but it still matter like for product reason, which framework you should choose, which will be better, which language or again technology will be better for your specific solution. And maybe you can say, okay, I heard something about random technology, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to use that. People telling it's nice, but I think you have to think deeper, because everything you build has an impact. And for example, as you can see, this is from .NET website. ASP.NET Core just simply faster than Node.js, than Go, than Python, than a lot of languages. But what does it mean? If it's faster, for the same amount of electricity or CPU time, it's create more value. It's calculate faster, and which means you consume less energy, which means you produce less CO2, right? And then if you build big product enough, right, for this scale, it's maybe for you now it sounds like a crazy what's going on, how it's applying to me. But no, if you have bad solutions, slow performance, you consume more electricity and you literally destroy our planet.
Yes.
So build with responsibility, choose right technology, because now it's not a question how you going to build it physically, like who going to write it. Yeah, you'll write it, but make sure you choose right technology. So this is I don't know what is this. So just use .NET. Save the word. Use .NET. What were we even talking about?
we need to create a T-shirt that use.net saves the world. I like it. And when we were talking about this is like when we were just talking about moving to .NET 10. .NET 10 is also faster. Because it's faster, it means that it's more efficient. Because it's more efficient, it means that it's consumed less. If you are using the cloud and you pay per compute, less consumptions mean less money. So instead of paying 10, you are going to pay 6 or whatever. So it's also, I don't want to say cheaper because it's not cheap. The word that I'm going to play my English is not my first language card right now to not explain the idea. But this is super important in the sense that you are going to save resources. And when you save resources, you publish to the cloud or whatever. It's the best option to do. It's a great one to start. And I really like to start here because it's all about, and we talked about this before we start, it's all about decisions. We are going back to how important are decisions in our software developer life cycles, and choosing the right platform, in this case .NET, will save you money. And I liked use .NET, save the world. I am going to talk with the .NET team to have this, and I'm going to quote, powered by Konstantin slides or something like that.
No, it's a focus. So this is literally how it is. And again, see, you simply replace .NET 8 by .NET 10 in your C project, bam, and you start saving the world right now. Because now it's faster, and we even have, I have to prepare better. We have even like diagrams, so this is true. It's like 20% faster. So, and now you need like less number of virtual machines to serve the same users. You really save your money, and this is how business can survive, because then business can use this money for something nice, maybe for better research, maybe for marketing, maybe to increase your salary, maybe to buy extra tokens. But again, the small thing like choose technology can like change everything.
Yes, and by the way, even if with a joke and more, Cecil here, by the way, hey Cecil, nice to have you back. He won the T-shirt now. Let's figure out if we can do the T-shirt and then do something there. Thanks, Konstantin, for that. But yes, decisions are super important, and choosing .NET as a platform today, it's super easy to justify, super easy to, why we are doing this, why we are having that, and responsibilities is the key part. I love it.
And also when you create something with AI, just, for example, you can say, I'm going to use like TypeScript. Not just tell it, use C#, use .NET, bam, that's all. This small, just see, this is just one sentence, but it will change everything. And I will show you later. Just amazing thing, because people think like, if we talk about AI, it's a Python. Python for AI, and AI, it's a Python. This is so not true, because AI, it's a highly performant C and C++, really high level thing to make this calculation faster, and Python it's just wrapper over these C libraries, like that's all. And again, for some research thing, it's easy, because a lot of researchers, it's just easy to like use some simple language. Again, C# complicated one. I'm not going to hide that you have to know like a lot of stuff about memory, like stack allocations, garbage. By the way, I think everyone knows that on each job interview, people ask about garbage collector, but how many people actually call at least once this garbage collector? If you call it, just send in our chat this message, because I don't know what should happen, that you have to really jump into this and fix something. It just works amazing.
Back on the day, and I am going to put my age on the table, we have this kind of rule that when we find the code base and there is a GC collect somewhere there was a problem in that piece of code, for sure. Nobody needs to call the garbage collector. I mean, there are scenarios where you should do
really
that.
Problem.
But if you are doing that, I don't know. But I will put some, in my head, 9 or 10 times, the problem was not the garbage collector. The problem was something else on the code. We need to take a look at that. But yes, C# is more difficult from some scenarios. That said, it's also easier today than before. You don't need to, you can do very basic and powerful things without being an expert, which I like. But yes, I'm, by the way, I'm not going to crush my Python friends. I also been doing a lot of Python, and Gwyn, Pamela, Marlene, they're all amazing. I love my colleagues doing Python stuff. Anthony also there. But as you said, I think there is some specific scenarios for each language, and moving to production with something that is going to be big and more and that kind of things, C# is probably the best. doing some AI labs or other stuff, Python is probably going to be faster, mostly because the AI ecosystem in Python is usually testing and having a lot of stuff here and there. But yes, I get the idea and I love it.
Yeah, but if we talk about, again, AI, so I think C# together with agent framework and extensions AI and Orleans, we will talk about Orleans. This is like really, so it's a best platform for build anything with AI right now. Like no one even close for that like level of comfort level for developing AI applications. Because whatever you see, like this one chain or one graph, all these one technologies, still, again, Python, which is nice for some experiments. For production, again, I prefer something that works much faster. But also, when you have this complex language, it means you can optimize it, you can do some cool stuff. So what I would like to say, maybe this is a like nice car, right? So maybe you just driving around your neighborhood, like go to boulangerie, I don't know, and nothing happens, but then you need just like move faster for some reason, and your car can do this. So this is for me, this is a C#. It can be anything. It can be simple if you don't want to jump so deeper, or like really complicated, which gives you enough power if you need to do some like really complex thing, like garbage collection, for example, and optimize something. You run your application on, I don't know, small Android device, and you have no memory, and you have to like take care of it by yourself. So, but anyway, so I suggest we can go to Orleans. What do you think?
Yes, but do you want to move forward and also start to talk about Orleans? Because I am new to Orleans, by the way. I was amazed that I think I know the general idea of Orleans, but we are in the version 10, which is, wow, how did this happen? For me, it's something that has been around, but it didn't even know that is there. So I don't know. Do we want to start to talk about Orleans so people know, or let us know in the comments? Is people really know? Do you know? Are you using Orleans or not? What is the target? What is the scenarios that Orleans makes sense or not? Because as I said, for me, I know it's there, but as a lot of other libraries, frameworks, and more, I am not following that. So I am surprised. Oh my God, a lot of people is here. Oh my God, this is great, so crazy for this and that. So how that Orleans fits here?
So yeah, and so Orleans, this is a framework for like virtual actors, and people like every time like, what is a virtual? What's going on? And even for me, when I first heard about Orleans, I think, virtual actors, really nice idea, love it. I don't have a time to try it right now. But then I was lucky enough to work with game development company. They use Orleans a lot, and then I realized how powerful it is. So we have by the way, this is we're going to switch between different slides today. Okay, Orleans. So Orleans gives you ability to run which calls like grains, isolated, I know, some workers or something, which calls like virtual actors, but it's complicated to think about. I prefer think this in a way as a digital twin. For example, as you can see here, again, yeah, let's do this one. If we talk about, for example, like application about delivery, right? Go back. Traditional programming model means like you have somewhere database. In database, you have endless rows with customer pages. They connect between each other with this SQL normalization database. And now you as a developer have to fighting with this really technical stuff. And when you try to explain something to manager, product owners, sometimes you can find, I know, some kind of like problems to understand. What Orleans can do, it's just think about this. It's a digital twin. So you can create digital twin of customer, digital twin of package, digital twin of courier, of distring, like everything. Now it's a digital twin. So this is a virtual copy of really physical object. And now your task as a developer, it's a communication between real objects. For example, you want to send delivery. So for example, you have a delivery, you can ask this district grain which is responsible for your area, is there any free delivery guy? Yeah, and this can send messages to all connected delivery guys, which is digital twin of delivery guys, and receive information. They say, yeah, I'm available, so it's this thing to you. And then you have this communication between real objects. And this model, it's super simple to understand everyone, because all product manager, business owners, they understand business. And this is a way how you can speak business, you know? You don't need to care about these roles anymore. You have nice level of abstraction. And also because of this framework, which Erlins provide, right? It's a communication inside this like highly scalable clusters between these digital twins. And this amazing framework gives us ability, again, so first of all, scaling, right? You have one customer here, but if you have 55,000 customers, we can just create more servers, like 5, 10 servers, and spread all these customers equally between all the servers. And this is how scalability works amazing. And all this thing caring by Erlins, you don't need to even, you have to know about that, right? But it's not something you should do by yourself. So scaling by default. Consistency. Also means each grain can execute one action at a time. So exactly in real life, right? If I ask Bruno about something, Bruno will answer to me like the same. If like 5 of me will ask Bruno probably will ask like one by one, request by request. This is also implemented in Erlins already by default. So in this case,
let me sorry, just to double check that I understand. So this idea of grains is kind of an actor. It's what we back on the day. Oh, okay.
Yeah, grain, it's an actor or digital twin. It's kind of
or a twin. Yes, I was trying to put it, but in my head, it was close to basically kind of an actor that is going to have some kind of state or more, and Erlins is going to manage that. But we call it here grain, and I like your analogy of a digital twin because yes, we have this, and we want to represent this in the digital world.
Yeah. So digital twins of real object communicate between each other in a way how they communicate in the real world. Everyone can understand that. And even, for example, see, so why C# is so powerful? Even if you have no idea about software development, you can take your favorite AI agent, it can be Codex or Code, and say, hey, I want to just build this thing based on Erlins. I have a business process, this is it. And just explain it, bam, it will create for you amazing digital twins of everything. And create for you diagrams. So you can, for example, as on this slide, you can see visually, these guys communicate between each other in this way. Looks right. Or maybe no, it looks not right because I have some another ideas. That's all. So, and this Erlins totally switch your way how you think about software development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I like here, let me show a little, if someone is interested to learn more, I am going back to the official documentation. This is where I find that, oh my God, we are in version 10. I didn't even know that we have that. But hey, going back here, this is the actor part. I like this scenario where yes, this is a grain, which is, again, in my head, I'm old school. So I associate this one with an actor. But hey, the 3 main parts. And if you've been doing software, this is not new. We've been doing identity, behaviors, and a state. So the full combo is here to represent a grain. Now, sorry, for me, okay, now the ball drop. Oh, now I get it. And more. And as I said, it's all explained here in the official documentation. And now I get the idea when you start to talk about digital twins and more. By the way, this is official doc, so anyone is interested, they can go here and start to play around with this. Sorry, I like this chart.
No,
so
this is
to bring it here.
This is really cool. Yeah, just so read official documentation. It's describe everything. It's really everything, and exactly in this way. So how you can use this grain?
Yes.
So you have this package grain, career grain, and you just call it by ID. That's all done. And for example, like this, see, like I know, just sign, I know, whatever. Super simple, right? It's so clear. It's so easy to understand for everyone. You don't need to have like your degree in programming science, computer science to do this. So this is amazing one. Again, some kind of examples, right? Communication between digital twins or agents or stuff like this. So easy to understand and scalable. So that's, again, I repeat myself, but anyway, you can think about it as a digital world of digital twins, which represent your like business processes, like your business, whatever. And then real communication happens in this Erlins stuff, which is really cool. And now probably you will Again, the same, blah, blah, blah.
And
now
I
agent
here,
framework.
Yes, but before going there, and again, sorry about this, I'm kind of refreshing and learning at the same time.
Yeah, please.
They also talk about the idea of silos here. So which makes sense, you have grains, so you have silos. So it's kind
silos,
of
it's a servers. It's a servers. Yeah. So technically, you create. I know. So if we talk about Azure or whatever Kubernetes, each virtual machine, it's a separate silo which host like some number of these virtual actors. And then scalability happened in a way when this silo is overloaded, Kubernetes or whatever create second virtual machine and grain. Finally, guys from Ardins merged that amazing feature for migration. So they will migrate equally. And now, for example, you have 1,000 agents in one server. Bam, you have 2 servers with 5,500 agents, each one. Your Ardins is super awesome. And then when users stop using that, number of grains goes down because, again, grains, sometimes they can deactivate it. Again, read documentation. You will get everything from documentation. But when activity goes low, it's understand, okay, server's almost free. So they stop virtual machine and migrate existing grains to like existing one. In this case, you have this amazing scalability. If you have high demand, it will create 1, 2, 3, 5 virtual machines, 10, whatever you need to serve that amount of requests. When it's gone, it will scale down to like 1, 2 servers, whatever. And you, again, for responsibility, you don't need to pay extra money, and your infrastructure will not just like burn energy because you just don't need that at all. And everything is done by Ardins. So technically, for you as a developer, again, in case if you don't have any performance issues, you just need to know, okay, this is exist. Like that's all. You need just develop this communication between grains, and that's all. Everything works just it is in Ardins by itself. How cool is that?
Okay, now I get the idea. Now I get these slides when you have the concept of, okay, this is grain, and then grain is going to automatically scale. The silos are going to manage the servers, or this is going to basically handle all of this escalation and more. And this is the moment that you connect the dots here and start to say, okay, this is a customer grain. But in the AI world, you can have an AI agent customer grain or whatever grain or okay. So this is the second click that I have here. Sorry.
Yeah, perfect. So see, and now because we feel ourselves familiar with Ardins, then how cool is this for agent framework to make it together? So now each agent, it's a separate digital twin of this agent. So we come up with like kind of like approach when each agent has a like blueprint, because technically agent, it's a system prompt, it's a skills, and maybe some tools, right? That's all. So you define this blueprint, and then whatever you need this agent, we create grain who own this agent, own this conversation, own this task, own like whatever. And maybe you say, oh, okay, this NA10, replicate NA10 in Ardins, it's a like task for maybe like 1 day. It's like nothing, and it will work much better because whatever you put inside grain, it can be again agent workflow, I know, long-running task, anything. It will work in isolated way with like super high scalability. So, and together, this is AgentSession. Let's talk about that too. And in agent framework, we also have amazing functionality how to manage conversation, because biggest question how we can be consistent. What happens if something goes wrong? If I know some error happened or server restarted, what's going on? So here we have AgentSession, which can store entire conversation, right? But entire conversation, it's too big. So technically, you should have like shadow history, which actually is sending every time to LLM, right? Because maybe you don't want to use your 1 million token window every time. And conversations that user can see in history, and also a context provider, because maybe you need some, I know, like specific skills or stuff like that. So everything of that provided by agent framework. And now when we put it inside Ardins, now we have, again, each conversation, it's a separate, isolated grain, which can like survive everything. Whatever happened, you send message, Grain save this message into like database, but not in it's called Grain state, Grain state in Grain store. Again, read documentation, but it means each grain responsible for its own state. That's kind of complicated. So it's not like some table and Grain can read this table. In consistent way, Grain can be responsible for its own state. So which means no one outside can modify this state. So this is for consistency. And then you have this Grain, which is an agent now with super consistent state inside. And you can scale it to any kind of tasks, scalability and stuff like this. So, and in this case, we can build as a .NET developers just amazing agentic solutions. It will be scalable, isolated. Again, security questions, right? How I can make sure that my conversation not be available for Bruno because of that, because of Orleans, because each grain has its own state, it's isolated. So whatever I do, I have access only to my grain and my conversation. And again, this is just by design.
And question, and I like this because, sorry to interrupt, because I see Cecil say that we are going to have a warm-up for an announcement of Orleans and Microsoft Agent Framework. Do we have something? I just realized, and I'm sorry, as I said, I try to keep my Orleans knowledge clean until today to talk with you and more. And I like that in example, let me go back here. I like that Orleans has a nice and very well documented, by the way, the documentation is amazing here. Kudos to the teams doing. I am the first one to be very critical with our own documentation in some products. So kudos to Orleans and the documentation, but they have described a very nice way. We have the official packages for Aspire to do the APP host. We have the packages to do the silo. And then we have some very nice and clean. Okay, this is how you create a cluster, where you have Redis if you want, where you have the Orleans cluster, and then you have the silo. So the domino pieces are falling for me. Now I'm starting to get this. Do you know if we have something around Orleans and Agent Framework or extension for AI? This is just a clean slate. So this is the opportunity for someone to create a nice set of samples and libraries. Is there anything there?
We're working on that. We're working on that stuff. So, but again, technically, I can give you super. So just copy paste this URL into your ChatGPT and say, hey, you know what?
I need that. Yeah,
I wanted this exactly in documentation.
I'm guessing yes, it's not going to be very complicated. I was wondering if we have something already here. I am checking the Agent Framework repo, and I couldn't find anything. But I'm guessing that somewhere there should be some labs / pet
somewhere in Microsoft it exists 100%. But I think guys still working on that to make it like more clean.
It makes a lot of sense. Basically, let me go back to your slide. Let me go back to your content. It makes a lot of sense because now that you have Orleans kind of giving you all of the foundational tools and the tool chain to scale, to create, and when we start to think that an AI agent can be a grain and take advantage of everything that Orleans gives you to here and there, hey, scaling agents, it's a challenge today. It's not as easy as scaling a Kubernetes.
Isolated. So this is isolated scaling because you have to be like 100% sure that data will not leak to another, like request. Nothing, so it should be super precise. And as you can see on this slide, so now because of all these frameworks which provide by .NET, now you as a developer, you can focus on product value because all these building blocks are already there. So you don't need to, again, I'm really happy that this Orleans exists, agentic framework exists because to develop that by myself, I know it's years of hard work and it's super complicated. But now when we build products, we can focus on just product value. Again, just send these URLs into your codex. Codex will take care about that. Focus on product value, how your agent should work, how they should perform. And you don't need to spend time on code, which is like really cheap right now. Aspire, and we forgot about Aspire, by the way. Maybe like a year ago, it's hard to say, but people do not write unit tests. I heard many times, and now everyone will know that it's every time it's a number like 20%. People talk, well, we don't write tests because it's a 20% longer. Why 20%? And people come up with this specific number. Everyone repeat this 20%. So this is how I know this person never write like single line of unit test. Because for me, quality is super important. Quality is not a question anymore. Yes. And again, people in my team knows that if I said, okay, it's done 100%, maybe this is kind of not true because I'm super busy every time and I just forgot about everything. Like I start building something, I forgot about something, and now when developer tell, like, I check it by myself, it works 100%. Now it's a trust question. If you trust this person or not. I prefer to see numbers. So any kind of test gives me numbers. And I say, okay, if tests are passed, at least our behavior still the same. At least like nothing bad happened. If we take like next step, for me, unit tests, it's almost useless because to write unit tests, you have to put mocks. And now you spend more time to set up mocks than actual tests, which for me looks like a waste of time. Next question, it's a Postman. I hope no one have a friends in Postman, but for me it's a, oh my God, it's forbidden in my company because people, developers, they create some kind of API controllers and test them in Postman. I said, why there is a amazing test framework? You can just run your application and just like in your test, just spawn a HTTP client and make these calls. Why are you doing by yourself? What are you doing? You waste so much time. You have no test after that. What's going on? I feel pain. But for me, integration tests, it's much better. But then next question, how we can build this integration tests, right? Because it's a database. For example, if we talk about even Erdins, right? You need like blob storage. You need some computers. Maybe you need OpenAI. Maybe you need like so much different databases, like everything. How are you going to run them? And before, again, Aspire, it was super easy. You can just create your own resource group in Azure, just take your keys, connect, and do whatever you want. But again, you have to spend money on it. If you have enough money, maybe you have your own environment. If not enough, you and 55 different developers working on the same environment, you have inconsistent state. Amazing one. So Erdins, not Erdins, oh my God, Aspire. Aspire allows you to run infrastructure locally. So when Aspire released, I trying to make Aspire as my production deployment pipeline. I super failed, but then again, David Fowler every time answered in Twitter. So again, if you have any, I'm sorry, David Fowler for that. If you have questions or ideas, just send it and David will see that. I don't understand Aspire before, but when I start thinking how I can make stable integration tests, and so Aspire, it's an amazing solution. So you can easily build your infrastructure with everything you need. You want to build your, for example, backend and React application easy because Aspire support this React application as a host, right? You want to write maybe Aspire test, not Aspire test, oh my God, Playwright test to make sure this UI still works. Easy. Infrastructure is running, your front end running, deploying, you have specific URL address you can connect, then you can run your Playwright test over that. So for me, this is a super powerful thing, how you can run locally your infrastructure with this like small details of it. And then you can write nice integration tests. And now you know like your entire system works fine.
Yes.
Especially if you talk about AI agents, because this is a question how you work with your AI. When I do something, first of all, I write again together with AI, of course, like feature description. Like what is this with diagrams, with explanation, how it looks like. Maybe it's nice idea also to write some ADR, so this architecture decision, what is that, and then acceptance criteria, and then maybe some plan to implementation, and then plan for testing. And for me, feature is done when AI or whatever, we have a code, we have a tests, and this test confirm this code behave exactly in the way as you want. and all this tests running in as much as possible real infrastructure. And actually Aspire gives that ability, because now if I know my test is okay, but something happens on production, 99% it's somewhere in DevOps. So I miss somewhere key or environment variable. So see, it's like super small place where I can find my issues. But without that, I have no idea how it works, how may the request go, like nothing. Because sometimes it's a different API, different storages. I think everyone experienced that with Azure Tables, for example, when you think, okay, Azure Table super cheap, I'm going to use Azure Table. For test, I'm going to use dictionary. And in dictionary, you can use link you can query it in ways you want, take this order. It's not supporting the Azure Tables. Surprise, surprise, and now your beautiful code must be replaced, fixed, because something is not working. Or, I know, everything.
Going back there a little, yes, I'm going back there a little, and we were talking about this before we start. This also brings today the question to the table that testing is important. It's super important. And choosing not only testing, I mean, the LLMs are great, but if you pick up any LLM, any harness, Copilot, Cloud Code, or whatever, and you said, add test, and you said, and I add 10 tests, add 10 more, add 10 more, it will generate until you stop. It will keep generating testing. It will keep. So the value of the test is not in the code anymore. It's to really understand how do you want to test your system. How do you? And I like what you mentioned about Aspire, in the sense that, hey, maybe Aspire is helping you to set up something very quickly, to set up the environment with everything that you need, backend, front end, whatever, and do integration tests. Integration tests are not easy right now. Defining how we are going to do the AI agent test or whatever, how we are going to test in the agent era, it's something that I've been hearing a lot of different ways to do that, a lot of valid points, a lot of ideas that for me doesn't make sense, but there may be something there. It's super, super important to find right now a good testing strategy. And it's going to be different for you, for me, and for everyone. So keep an eye on this. I know this is just going kind of very, very vague, not Orleans, not AI, but testing today, it's great. And if you are, and not you, but if someone in the audience is hearing us and is using any tool, any AI tool, and it's feeling comfortable about, hey, generate test, and that's it, take a look at the test. Because as I said, you can ask for more tests, more tests, more tests, and more tests. And if you have Sonnet 5, which was released yesterday, and it's a great model, it will give you more tests, more tests, more tests, more tests. But it will probably doesn't make sense after the second or third iteration. So keep an eye there. Integration tests are the most important for me right now, because we are living in a world with the small or big pieces all going all together. Checking up that all of the contracts are fine, everything is working as expected, it's super, super important. And we don't, it's not that I'm missing the days when I have very good integration tests. I am going back there. People are starting to spend more time. How I make this work all together? And really, really, as you mentioned there, Aspire can help you with the Playwright test. And Playwright was initially created to do testing. Then people are automating and going back to testing right now. It's a whole topic about the AI development cycle right now. And testing, I think it's super hard. Sorry to interrupt, but you bring really, this is like...
No, this is an important one.
It's great.
Yeah, and so for me, so see, I also saw many times when I said, like, I did the same, like, write more tests. I said, 55,000 tests is ready. I opened this test and said, okay, I create DTO and I try to write each field. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I know it works. What are you talking about? For me, so why I use Playwright tests, I want to pass entire work. So see, you have to, like, test user flows, let's say like this, because if something, I know, like something is okay, it doesn't mean it's enough. For example, you wanna, I know, sign up. So for example, amazing example for Aspire, I doing it like right now. Of course, for payment, you should connect Stripe. Of course, for Stripe, there is a CLI for Stripe which simulate every stuff of that. And you can run it as a Docker in Aspire and then set up everything with endpoint for that Stripe. And then my test looks like this. Sign in, choose package 1, pay for it, like fill everything, make sure it's come back, and make sure you have every this subscription piece. And now because you have subscription, try to use this product. Product, it works fine. Like, okay, then test is fine. And so that's why when I'm talking about if my tests are passed, I know at least user flow is still alive. And for AI, it's also easy to say, like, don't stop until all tests will be green. And AI just start playing that, okay, test failed somewhere, where it's failed, and it's try to find out by yourself. Again, Aspire provide nice logs for like what's going on, so it can read it and say, okay, database is not working, that is not working. I try to use patch, we broke something, so it's fixed by itself because the goal, some specific user flow should be fully like automated. At least this is my experience. At least for now, it works for me. But if I start doing unit tests, then I have just bunch of code. It spent my time, but it's not gives me anything because it's just like random tests with random mocks. It's just mess. And also, I remember I saw somewhere in Twitter or LinkedIn a nice idea that also tests, it's also part of documentation, because when AI explore your project, it's read it, okay, it works in this way. So it's also, so that's why you must keep your test up to date and without any like fallback stuff. So it should be like clean, straightforward, and then you will have nice product.
Hey, Luis is mentioning here, by the way, thanks Luis, because Luis was the one that
connected. You also nice.
And he triggered this. He was the one triggered this conversation. But he said that BDD, behavior driven development, really helps here. I will probably say that even TDD, and now TDD sounds old or whatever, but TDD is literally your tests are your documentation. Everything that's happened there, that's why you start with the test and more. And I'm super happy to see that, I'm sorry, as I said, I am going back and forward with the documentation that Orleans, as expected, has also a new set of nothing new here. I mean, if you read this code, you are setting up everything. And again, it's being new to Orleans. But then you have a fact here, you have a test. We say, okay, this is the hello brain. I expect this, and it's going to say hello world. A, B, C. So we can have this. So it's supported. You don't need to do more. And by the way, I think they talk about how you can get the test cluster and even sharing tests, and I read something very fast.
But again, see, it's a still integration test, which I really love, because when you create this test cluster, it means you can like kind of like spawn these grains in easy way. But to make this cluster work, you still need everything like databases, storages, all this stuff, which still provide this. And for me, with this integration tests, this is super important. So I know everything works together.
Yes, and hey, this is the one that I was also reading here, talking about mocks and more. Yes, because this is a very simple grain. Basically, you said a word, and I say, hello world, Bruno, hello Bruno, Konstantin, hello Konstantin. But yes, as you mentioned, if we are talking about an AI agent grain, you will probably need an LLM. If your agent have memory, you will probably need something to implement the memory. If he has access to tools, so yes, setting up all of this is more close to an integration test. But hey, the tools are here, the library is here, it supports this, and it's all about best practices. It's all about how we can get here, how we can do more. Hey, I love it. And by the way, going back to what Cecil was talking and the comments was talking, I start to have a couple of ideas that I'm going to drop in somewhere here and there to see what we can do with an AI grain agent, whatever, with extension for AI and Microsoft Agent Framework and Orleans, because this is amazing. I love to have this, and I love to learn more. Sorry, let me go back to your slide.
Yeah, for example, recently we spent like 4.5 trillion tokens because we have to process super big amount of data, and we did that because of Microsoft Extensions AI. That's super amazing. And moreover, with this evaluation library, because Microsoft Extension AI is also part of evaluation library. And I remember there is an entire startup about that, about LLM evaluation. I don't remember the name.
Hey, there are there are so many projects right now that basically are focusing on saving money.
It's not on saving, so it's a kind of idea. You track conversation and then compare it with your ideal, I don't know, something ideal conversation or stuff like this, and again, entire startup around that. Disadvantage of almost everyone. I know one Smith, one of them. I remember that. It's so annoying. You have to connect it somehow. So, and for me, it's much easier to build my own version of that evaluation tool with extensions AI than figure out how that application works. I built it like 2 or 3 times, and it works perfectly.
That's an interesting question, because I am going to bring, and this is not related to what we have. I'm going to bring. We talk about saving and whatever, and this is very popular right now, which is basically use a skill. So your conversations are in caveman mode, and you're going to save tokens. Is the silliest idea ever, but it works and it's great. But you just mentioned something that I want to get your opinion here, as far as you want. That you just mentioned, hey, I need to do this, and I have these tools here or libraries that are helping me to do this, but I decided to go by myself because I can build it and I can have better experience. What do you feel about that? That we are in the moment that because it's cheap to create those tools, if you know what you want, if you know how you can build it and more, are you seeing that more people are going in that direction, that I am going to build my own whatever, I'm going to do my own this and that because I can do it, and probably in the past it's going to take me a couple of months, today is going to take me a couple of days or a week, and I'm going to get there? Do you have any thoughts on that? Sorry, it's not related to what we're talking, but I think it's a nice topic to talk.
I have entire framework how to write code with LLM, by the way.
We are all there. I think we are all in that space right now.
So technically, unfortunately, you can try. So I can show you one sec. It's this one. This is a lot of text, whatever. So if you want to do this, just go to tutorial, copy paste this piece of text, put it into your LLM. That's all done. So technically, to write nice code, you need to achieve several things. So first of all, you have to tell. We can stop it, or we can show it. I don't know, whatever you prefer. I see it's still like LLM generated stuff. So idea here. So first of all, you have to tell it about code quality, because again, code quality test, it's not discussable anymore, and you have to define like when task is done. Task is done when you implement everything you want, cover everything by tests, you run static analysis, and as much static analyzers as you know, or is it possible? For example, for C#, it's easy to set up this .editor config file to define how exactly your code should looks like. There is so many, again, analyzer, complexity checkers, line number checkers, so because your code should be like super nice. It's a first step. Second step, again, definition how to work with tasks. So it should create the documentation, super important. So it's first of all, it should create documentation, all this architecture decisions, things, stuff like that. And then I'm going to switch back. Unfortunately, you have to buy frontier models. There is no way how you can build nice software with small models. Unfortunately, it should be Opus or GPT 5.5 extra high. Only these models are smart enough to understand what you want. Smaller models, it's fine maybe for developers, because, for example, if you have big model, you can say, yeah, for example, I want to build some kind of like website. I want to do this, I want to do that. Big model smart enough to understand that and convert it properly. Smallest model, not be able to do this. Smallest model, it's more like if you already have something, can you need to fix something, then like medium models or Sonnet, it's really amazing. It's cheaper. And for example, you said, okay, I see bug, fix this, fix that, add more tests, no, like for some smallest task. And technically that's all. Yes, and then you have to try and iterate with tests. Check by yourself, check test by yourself, test static analysis, aspire infrastructure, and just repeat it until you will get nice results. But again, my suggestion still, you still need real people. For example, I have a startup. I just, for experiment, I build it almost entirely with LLM. Of course, it's based on. I'm going to show you again. So. Orchestration, by the way, this is like really short thing. So people want their AI agents, and for non-developers, it's too complicated. So I think, yeah, I can do this. I can build it. So the same Orleans, agentic framework, extension AI, Aspire, like everything that I told, we built it inside this service. And I think everything is fine. And I found my friend who offered me like security check. And he almost inside my super admin panel right now. So but again, I have like so much experience in development, and anyway, I miss something. So, and again, I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. So I'm as usual, I'm talking about how it is. So whatever you build, someone have to check it, because you can trust AI. It will trick you. It will lie you. Like no way. So see, and for me, this is like, which I don't like about this AI hype. People tell like, oh my God, you can one shot entire application. We start this project with idea. I told my team, like, I'm gonna build this project in 3 days. I build it like 5 times. I can build it in 3 days. 5 days, stop. 2 months later, see? 2 months later, we're still not there. It's
yes.
Oh my God, it's, of course, I want to deliver like high quality, but every time something doesn't work, something goes in the wrong direction. I didn't think about some technical DC. DevOps, oh my God.
I told people that yes, we are living in the days that people, I don't know, vibe coding. We are getting close to the end, so getting super informal here. But I love vibe coding. Why? Because vibe coding helped me to validate an idea. I can quickly prototype something, put something, and say, okay, this makes sense. This does not make sense, but that's in my head how far I can get. If I need to build real something, the output of the vibe coding, whatever, probably is not going to be good enough. Because as you mentioned, I can build something in 2 days, but 2 months later, when I move to production and scale and have user security, and we didn't even talk about security, which is also a big one here today. It's not going to get there. But I think all of these new trends, all of these new ideas really, really help in dependent scenarios. And again, AI is going to generate code, crappy code. Not, as you mentioned, small models are not going to be good enough to do big things, but they're good enough to launch applications, or maybe good enough to help you with minor things. Big models, Opus 4.8, GPT-5.5, and more are going to help. Vibe coding, for me, it's great. I can build something very fast, very quickly. And does this make sense? Does this not make sense? How this will help or not? But however, if this is a real product, a real big product, I will not going to start with that one. I will going to start with the basic, as you mentioned, as you show, the basic of very good, well-defined set of instructions to build software, quality software. So we live in these days that last year we didn't even think about this. It's crazy, and it's amazing. And I'm so sorry we get to the end of the hour.
I have last idea about this vibe coding stuff. So I really love people put posts and like, oh my God, AI generates some shitty code and now everything is shit. Come on. Entire industry development with shitty code. Don't pretend people write shitty code. Everyone writes shitty code. Everything's so bad, and AI does exactly the same but faster. So just like verify what you're doing. That's all. Like write tests. Don't trust it exactly in the way as you don't trust junior developers, because everyone can create mess. Don't pretend mess exists only because of AI.
Yes, and hey, Vladislav said that we missed the opportunity to show Aspire, Orlean, local model example. I promise for next one in the 15th, let's start with that one. Let's start with, I'm going to cook something because now
it's really amazing.
I'm going to try to write something to do this, and let's share something like that. And I'm sorry, we get to the end of the hour. I'm trying to be very sensitive with the time and more. Konstantin, this was amazing, and time flies. We start to talk, and when I look at the clock again, oh my God, we are already at the end. It was very, very nice. Thanks a lot for being here, and thanks a lot who also are watching us online. See you all next one, and hey, goodbye everyone.
And choose C# and save the world. This is important one. Don't forget about this.
Use.net, save the world. We are going to work on that. I'm going to take this on myself. Goodbye everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.